All right, so get ready, because today we're going deep, deep into theosophy.
Right. Yeah.
A topic I know you're already super interested in.
Right.
And theosophy, well, it's not just some ancient philosophy gathering dust.
Yeah.
It's like a system, a whole way of thinking that brings together ancient wisdom with modern ideas.
Okay.
And its goal is to unlock, all the mysteries of existence.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Theosophy really dives into the big stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Things like consciousness and how everything's connected and just like the nature of reality itself.
I mean, it's not just trying to understand the universe.
Right.
It's about trying to understand us, right?
Yeah, our place in it.
Our place within it.
Exactly.
And I gotta say, one of the things that really hooks me about Theosophy is how it brings in traditions from all over the world. It's like it blends Eastern philosophies with Western esoteric thought.
Right. You're totally on point. It's like, even though Theosophy formally started in the late 19th century, it's got these roots that go way, way back, drawing from Hinduism, Buddhism, Gnosticism, even ancient Greek philosophy.
It's kind of like, whoa, this is a global thing.
Yeah, it's a tapestry.
So how did all of these different ideas and traditions, all these spiritual thoughts, how did they come together to make a modern movement?
Yeah.
Where did it all begin?
Okay, well, the story starts in 1875.
Okay.
And get this, in New York City.
New York City.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect it, right?
Not exactly what I'd think of as, the birthplace of this,
Right. Ancient wisdom, right in the heart of...
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you had Helena Blavatsky.
Okay.
Along with Henry Steele Olcott and William Conn Judge. They founded the Theosophical Society right there.
Okay.
And their goal was to promote this idea of universal brotherhood, to compare different religions and to study all those mysteries, the ones that have always fascinated people for centuries.
It's kind of wild to think of, Victorian society, being so traditional.
So buttoned up.
Buttoned up, yeah.
And then you have the Theosophical Society being like, hey, look beyond your little boxes.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty groundbreaking.
So they were encouraging people to, step outside of just the one belief system.
Yeah, get out of the dogma.
And look for what connects us.
Exactly. Find that common thread, that spiritual thread that ties us all together.
So instead of focusing on what separates us, they were like, hey, let's find what brings us together.
That's it.
And that leads us to one of Theosophy's core principles, right?
Yeah.
This idea of universal brotherhood.
Universal brotherhood, exactly.
We're all connected.
We're all family, yeah.
We're all one big family, regardless of any differences.
Doesn't matter where you come from, what you believe.
It's a pretty powerful idea, especially, with all the division in the world today.
Oh, absolutely.
Does Theosophy, does it actually give us any, practical advice on how to actually live this principle? How to be a universal brother or sister?
It does. It really does.
Okay.
And, theosophical texts suggest that realizing our interconnectedness, it's not just this fluffy feel-good idea.
Yeah.
It's like a fundamental shift in how we see the world.
Hmm.
It can actually lead us to more fulfilling lives, a more peaceful world.
Okay.
And for example, they say, understanding that our actions affect other people, it makes us more careful about the choices we make because we know there are consequences.
Okay.
It creates responsibility and compassion.
So it's we're not just individuals, we're part of this larger web of life.
Yes, a web of life.
And everything we do has these ripple effects.
It ripples out.
And that leads us to another one of those core principles.
Oh, yeah.
Karma.
Karma, exactly.
That idea of cause and effect.
The law of cause and effect.
Every action, thought, intention.
It all comes back around.
Yeah, creates a ripple in the universe and comes back to us. But some people see karma as this predetermined destiny, right?
Yeah, like fate, no free will.
Yeah. So how does Theosophy, how does it deal with those two things? Because they seem opposite.
Well, that's a question Theosophists have been thinking about for a long time.
Yeah.
And while they do acknowledge, the influence of our past actions, Theosophy also says we have the power to make choices right now.
Okay.
In the present that shapes our future. It's about understanding the karmic patterns we inherit, but knowing we can create new, better ones.
So we're not just stuck. We can actually change our destiny.
We're participants.
We participate.
It's not passive.
Yeah.
Theosophy says by understanding these karmic forces, we can make choices that move us away from being a victim and into a place of power.
Okay, so it's knowing the currents of the ocean, you can navigate.
Ah, that's a great analogy.
Instead of just being tossed around by the waves.
Exactly.
So we're not just at the mercy.
Right.
We can actually steer.
Steering the ship.
And that leads us to, another fascinating aspect of Theosophy.
Oh, yeah.
Reincarnation.
Reincarnation, the idea that we live multiple lives.
Yeah, I mean, this idea has been around forever, right?
Oh, yeah. It's captivated people for centuries.
But how does Theosophy view it? Is it just like we're reborn into another body, or is there a bigger purpose?
Okay, so Theosophy says that each life is a chance for the soul to learn and grow and evolve. We go through different experiences.
Okay.
We experience joy and suffering, and we gain wisdom through it all.
So it's like each lifetime is a chapter.
A chapter, yeah.
In a much larger story.
It's not just a standalone thing.
Yeah, it's the soul evolving. And then all the
yeah.
challenges, the good times.
All of it contributes.
They all contribute to that.
Yeah, to the soul's ultimate goal.
To becoming one with the divine.
Unity with the divine, that's it.
That's pretty profound.
It is.
I mean, it really changes how we think about, like, the purpose of life. Right? It's not just a straight line. It's like a cycle.
A cycle of growth and transformation.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I gotta say, this is getting pretty mind-bending.
It is a lot to take in.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So what other, intriguing ideas does Theosophy throw at us?
Okay, well, Theosophy doesn't just stop at the physical world. It goes beyond that, into what it calls subtle realms.
Okay, subtle realms.
Yeah.
That sounds like something out of, a fantasy book.
It might sound fantastical, but Theosophists believe these realms are real. Just as real as the physical world.
Okay.
And they say these realms actually affect our everyday lives.
Wow.
In deep ways.
Give me an example.
Well, they talk about things like astral projection.
Okay, astral projection.
Where your consciousness can detach from your body and travel to these other realms.
Whoa, so that's like my consciousness leaves my body.
It's like an out-of-body experience.
But is that something anyone can do? Or do I need, special training or something?
Theosophy says it's an ability we all have, but it's hidden. You can develop it through meditation, spiritual practice, and of course, many lifetimes of practice.
Oh, well, all right.
Yeah, it takes time.
I'm going to add master astral projection to my to-do list.
There you go.
So what else is there in these subtle realms?
Okay, well, one of the most fascinating things is the Akashic Records.
Akashic Records, what's that?
It's like a cosmic library that holds the record of everything that's ever happened.
Everything? That's a lot of information.
Every thought, action, event.
So like a universal database of all knowledge?
That's one way to think about it.
Can I just, log in and browse?
I wish it were that easy.
Okay.
Theosophy says that as we evolve spiritually, we gain more access to these records.
Okay.
But accessing them isn't just, typing a search query.
Yeah.
It takes deep meditation, serious spiritual discipline.
So it's like a reward for the truly dedicated.
The more you grow, the deeper you can go.
I like that. The more you grow, the deeper you can go.
And all these ideas, they didn't just come out of nowhere, right?
Right. Someone had to think of them.
Yeah, they were shaped and shared by some remarkable people.
So to really understand Theosophy,
yeah,
we got to meet the minds behind it, right?
Absolutely. Let's start with the woman who started it all.
Yeah.
Helena Blavatsky.
Helena Blavatsky.
Her books, The Secret Doctrine and Isis Unveiled, are like the foundation of theosophical thought.
Wow, she must have been a pretty strong force.
Oh, she was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
To bring all these different traditions and ideas together.
Into one system.
Yeah, what drove her to do something so ambitious?
I mean, that's a big project.
It is.
What was her deal?
Well, Blavatsky, she was this tireless traveler. A real scholar.
Okay.
She was deep into Eastern philosophies and Western esoteric traditions.
So she was like a global detective.
Yeah, a detective of wisdom. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
She was always searching for clues to unlock the mysteries of existence.
She wasn't satisfied with just the surface level.
Oh, no, she dug deep.
Okay.
She delved into ancient texts, studied with spiritual masters, even claimed to have psychic abilities.
Wow.
To access knowledge from other realms.
That's amazing.
She was an extraordinary woman.
So her impact on Theosophy, I mean, it's undeniable, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But who else played a big part in shaping this movement?
Okay, another key figure is Annie Besant.
Annie Besant.
She joined the Theosophical Society later.
Okay.
And she became a major leader.
How was she different from Blavatsky?
Well, Blavatsky was all about esoteric knowledge, ancient wisdom,
Oh,
But Besant was also really passionate about social justice, making the world a better place.
So she brought like a more practical side to it?
Right. She wanted to put those theosophical ideas into action.
Okay.
She fought for education, especially for women, campaigned for workers' rights and Indian independence.
Wow. So Blavatsky was like uncovering the ancient wisdom.
The wisdom.
And Besant was bringing it to the street.
Exactly. Applying it to real world problems.
Okay. And that shows like different perspectives within Theosophy, right?
Yeah. It's not a monolithic thing.
Yeah, it's got this richness and complexity.
Absolutely.
And then there's Jiddu Krishnamurti.
Krishnamurti, yeah.
Who Theosophists initially called a world teacher.
A world teacher.
That's a pretty heavy title.
It is.
So why did he end up breaking away from the Theosophical Society?
Well, Krishnamurti, he was very spiritual.
Okay.
But he didn't like the idea of gurus or organized religion. He encouraged people to find their own truth.
Okay.
Through self-inquiry, through direct experience. He said individual awakening is more important than following dogma.
So even within this movement, that was all about going beyond dogma.
Right.
There was room for even more individual exploration.
Absolutely. It's all about finding your own path.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Theosophy is full of these different ideas.
It keeps it interesting.
For sure.
So let's dig a little deeper into some of those theosophical beliefs. Let's start with this idea of the sevenfold nature of humans.
Sevenfold nature, all right?
You mean we're more than just body and soul?
More than just body and soul, yeah.
Tell me more.
Theosophy says we have all these layers, like multiple bodies.
Okay.
Including the physical, the astral, the mental, and the spiritual.
Whoa, so it's not just like a two-part system?
No, it's more complex than that.
We're multi-layered beings.
Multi-layered, exactly.
And these layers, they correspond to different planes of existence.
Different levels of reality.
They all interact.
They do.
And influence our choices and experiences.
That's right. It's like a multi-dimensional view of what it means to be human.
Multi-dimensional, I like that.
It's a pretty wild idea.
It is.
But it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
And each layer, it has its own special properties and functions.
Okay.
And they all contribute to our well-being and our evolution.
So how does the idea of soul evolution fit into this whole multi-layered thing?
Well, Theosophy teaches that our souls aren't static. They're always evolving.
Okay.
They evolve through all these different lifetimes. And gradually they move towards greater wisdom and unity with the divine.
In each life, with all its ups and downs.
All the challenges and joys.
They're all part of that journey.
Each life is a step.
Yeah, it's a chance to refine and elevate all those different layers.
Exactly, you're getting it.
It's not just about, like, accumulating knowledge and experiences.
Bro, it's deeper than that.
It's like we're refining our very essence.
Refining our essence, yeah.
Wow.
And this evolution, it's not just an individual thing. We're all interconnected. We're evolving together.
Whoa, okay.
Towards this higher state of consciousness.
So we're all in this together.
We are
helping each other grow.
Helping each other evolve.
Yeah, it's kind of a beautiful vision, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
And this whole idea of collective evolution,
yeah,
it's supported by this concept of cosmic hierarchies.
Cosmic hierarchies. All right. Now we're getting into some really cool stuff.
Okay, tell me more.
Okay, so imagine the universe organized into these different levels of beings.
Okay.
Like angels, divas, ascended masters. And these beings, they're like guides for humanity.
Okay, so they're helping us along.
They're helping us evolve, nudging us towards wisdom and understanding.
It's like having a cosmic support system.
A cosmic support system, exactly.
Cheering us on from behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're not alone.
That's a nice thought.
It is comforting, isn't it?
But how do we communicate with these beings? Do they, like, send us messages in our dreams?
That's where esoteric symbolism comes in.
Oh, symbolism. I love a good symbol.
Theosophy says that these beings communicate with us through symbols.
Okay.
And archetypes that are, like, woven into our myths, our religions, even our everyday experiences.
So there are hidden meanings, secret codes everywhere.
You could say that.
Tell me more.
Okay, so Theosophy encourages us to look beyond the surface, to see the deeper meaning hidden within things, like everyday objects, natural phenomena, even the stories we tell ourselves.
Give me an example.
Sure. The lotus flower.
Okay.
It's got its roots in the mud, but it blossoms into this beautiful flower.
Yeah.
It's often seen as a symbol of spiritual growth, of enlightenment.
So it's like the universe is talking to us in symbols and metaphors.
Yeah, whispering secrets.
And we just have to learn how to listen.
Exactly, to decode the language.
And Theosophy gives us a framework.
A framework, a key.
For understanding that language, for finding that hidden wisdom.
It's a pretty amazing idea.
But this is also fascinating.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I also have some questions and concerns.
That's natural.
Okay, so let's address those. Let's talk about the criticisms of Theosophy.
Okay, let's get into it.
What are the main concerns people have?
Well, one of the big ones is that Theosophy, it's kind of like a hodgepodge. It pulls from so many different traditions that some people say it oversimplifies them or even misrepresents them.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, we should approach different cultures and beliefs with respect, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like trying to understand them on their own terms, not just shoving them into our own boxes.
Yeah. So how do Theosophists respond to that critique?
Yeah, what do they say?
What they argue that Theosophy isn't about like taking over or watering down these traditions.
Okay.
It's more about seeing the connections, the unity that runs through them all.
The underlying unity.
Yeah, like there are universal truths that show up in different cultures and times.
Like threads in a tapestry.
Exactly, a tapestry of wisdom.
So it's less about like claiming these beliefs as their own.
Right.
And more about finding the common ground that connects us all spiritually.
That's it, the common ground.
Okay.
Theosophy encourages comparing different religions and spiritualities, seeing what each one brings to the table, but also looking for those universal principles.
That go beyond culture.
Yeah, that transcend those boundaries.
Like appreciating a garden with all its different flowers.
Ah, that's a good one.
Each one has its own beauty and scent, right? But they're all nourished by the same sun and soil.
That's a beautiful analogy.
Another criticism I've heard is that a lot of Theosophy's claims, especially about those subtle realms and things like astral projection and the Akashic records, they lack scientific evidence.
Right.
Some people even call it pseudoscience or superstition.
Well, we do live in a world where scientific proof is really important.
Yeah, it holds a lot of weight.
So how does Theosophy reconcile its teachings with, the scientific method?
That's a good question.
Well, Theosophy acknowledges that some of its core ideas, they go beyond what science currently understands.
Okay.
But they argue that science is always evolving.
Right.
What seems impossible today might be proven tomorrow.
So it's about keeping an open mind.
Keep an open mind.
Even to things that seem, out there.
Yeah, because our knowledge is constantly expanding.
What we know now might be just a tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle.
Exactly. There's so much we don't know.
And Theosophy encourages us to consider other ways of knowing, right? Like not just through science, but through intuition, direct experience, spiritual insight, other paths to truth.
It's like that saying, the map is not the territory.
I like that.
There's always more to explore.
Always more to discover.
Beyond the edges of what we think we know.
That's the spirit of Theosophy.
It's an invitation to explore, to question.
To question everything.
And to find our own understanding.
Not just accepting things blindly.
So it's more about the journey than reaching a specific destination.
Yeah, the journey is the destination.
Yeah, I like that.
Theosophy encourages us to study, contemplate, meditate. Even experiment with spiritual practices.
And to find what resonates with us, right?
Exactly. What rings true for you.
It's more empowering.
It is.
Than just being told what to believe.
You're in the driver's seat.
But with so many spiritual teachings and paths out there.
Oh, yeah, there's so many. How do we know what's true? How do we navigate all of that without getting lost?
That's a crucial question. And Theosophy offers some guidance.
Okay.
It stresses the importance of discernment, of learning to trust your own inner wisdom.
Our intuition.
Your intuition, yeah.
Get the gut feeling.
Theosophy says that deep inside each of us, there's a spark of the divine, a source of guidance that can lead us to truth.
So we have to learn to listen to that inner compass.
That's right.
But it's not just about blind faith, right?
No. Theosophy also encourages us to study, to learn from different traditions, to think critically.
So it's finding a balance.
Balance, yeah.
Between trusting our gut and using our minds to evaluate what we learn.
Exactly. It's a both-hand situation.
Like a spiritual detective.
I like that, spiritual detective.
Gathering clues from different sources, but also honing that inner sense of truth.
Trusting your instincts.
Now, going back to those criticisms,
yeah.
Another concern I've heard is that Theosophy, by drawing so much from Eastern traditions,
right,
it risks appropriating or misrepresenting them.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah, especially since Theosophy started in the West.
It does have to navigate that carefully.
Yeah, the delicate balance.
Cultural exchange can be tricky.
So how do Theosophists respond to that accusation?
Well, they say Theosophy's goal isn't to claim ownership of these traditions. It's to highlight the universal truths that run through them. They stress the importance of respecting where these teachings come from.
Their context.
Yeah, and engaging with them requires an open mind, a willingness to learn.
So recognizing the value of these traditions,
Yeah.
but also being mindful of the potential pitfalls of appropriation.
That's the key, finding that balance.
It reminds us to approach all spiritual teachings with a critical eye.
A critical eye, absolutely.
Not just those from other cultures.
Right.
Engaging in respectful dialogue, asking questions.
Yeah, trying to understand the deeper meaning.
Not just like adopting things on a surface level.
Superficial understanding isn't enough.
And even within Theosophy,
Right.
there are different interpretations and approaches.
It's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
And ultimately, we each have to find our own path.
Your own path to truth.
Exactly.
And this brings us back to that idea, the spiritual journey is individual.
It's personal.
Theosophy provides a framework, some principles,
Okay.
but it also recognizes that everyone's path is unique.
So it's not about fitting into a mold.
No.
It's about using these teachings as a starting point.
A springboard for growth and exploration.
Yeah, and that exploration, according to Theosophy, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
It unfolds over many lifetimes.
In many lifetimes.
Which brings us back to reincarnation.
Reincarnation, the cycle continues.
Can you talk more about how Theosophy sees this cyclical journey of the soul?
Okay, so Theosophy suggests that each lifetime is like a chapter
A chapter
in this much larger story.
of soul evolution.
Yeah, we're not just born, live once, and then disappear.
It's not a one-and-done deal.
We go through all these experiences, gathering wisdom through joy and sorrow.
So each lifetime is an opportunity
An opportunity, yeah,
to grow, to learn,
to add to the soul's journey.
and ultimately to reach that unity with the divine.
That's the ultimate goal.
And the challenges we face, they're not random.
No, they have a purpose.
They're chances for us to learn, to evolve.
To shed those limiting beliefs and patterns.
Wow, that's a powerful way to reframe how we see difficulties.
It is.
It suggests that even struggles have a deeper meaning.
They contribute to our growth.
And that can be empowering.
It can.
It helps us face those ups and downs.
With more resilience.
With more resilience and with a sense of meaning.
Exactly. Knowing there's a purpose behind it.
Like every experience, whether it's good or bad,
All of it.
it's a chance to learn and grow.
To align with our true nature.
I love that.
And this idea of aligning with our true nature,
Yeah.
it's connected to that sevenfold nature of humans.
Right. Those multiple layers.
The layers, yeah.
Can you remind us about those layers and how they fit into our spiritual evolution?
Sure. So Theosophy describes 7 layers.
7. Okay.
The physical, etheric, astral, mental, causal, Buddhic, and atmic.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And they all correspond to different planes of existence.
Okay.
And they influence our experiences in different ways.
So, like, we're multi-layered beings.
Multi-layered. That's a good way to put it.
And each layer has its own role in our well-being and evolution.
That's right.
Okay, can you give a quick rundown of each layer and what it does?
Absolutely. The physical body, that's the one we're most familiar with.
Right, our physical form.
The tangible one.
Yeah.
The etheric body, it's closely connected to the physical.
Okay.
It governs our life force, our energy.
Life force energy. Okay.
The astral body is all about our emotions, desires, passions. The mental body, that's where our thoughts, beliefs, intellect reside.
Thoughts and beliefs.
The causal body is associated with our higher will, our purpose, our karmic patterns.
Higher will, purpose. Okay.
And the Buddhic and Atmic bodies, those are the spiritual layers.
Spiritual one.
They connect us to our divine essence.
So it's like each layer has a specific function.
Yeah, they all work together.
They all contribute to the whole.
To the symphony of the self.
And as we grow spiritually, these layers become more refined, more integrated.
More integrated, yep.
Allowing us to access these higher states of consciousness.
Higher states.
And to experience greater harmony and balance.
That's the goal.
This is all so fascinating.
It is, isn't it?
It's like discovering hidden dimensions within ourselves.
Exactly. We're more than we realize.
But it's also a bit overwhelming.
I understand.
Where do we even begin to explore and integrate all of this?
Well, Theosophy says that spiritual growth is a process, a gradual unfolding.
Okay.
It takes place over many lifetimes.
Many lifetimes, so we have time.
We do. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
So we don't have to get it all at once.
No, just take small steps. Cultivate self-awareness.
Okay.
And engage with the teachings in a way that resonates with you.
Find what feels right.
Trust your instincts.
So finding our own rhythm and pace.
Your own pace.
Listening to our intuition, trusting that we're exactly where we need to be.
That's the key.
Now, speaking of practices,
Yeah.
how do people actually engage with Theosophy in their daily lives? Is it just about reading books and going to lectures?
It's more than that.
Or are there more active practices?
Yeah, Theosophy encourages a balanced approach,
Okay.
combining study and experience.
Study and experience, both.
So reading those texts and having discussions is important.
Yeah.
But it's also about putting those principles into practice.
Bringing it into the real world.
Exactly.
What are some examples of those practices?
Well, meditation is central.
Meditation.
It helps calm the mind,
Okay.
connect with your inner wisdom, access higher states. There's also studying comparative religion, engaging in selfless service, cultivating virtues like compassion, tolerance, forgiveness.
So it's about like embodying those theosophical principles.
Embodying, that's a good word.
Yeah, in our actions, thoughts, words.
Bringing that wisdom into your life.
Making it real.
Not just an abstract idea.
Yeah, Theosophy is not meant to be just a philosophy.
Right.
It's a way of life.
A way of life.
That transforms us from the inside out.
And ripples out into the world.
I love that. Bridging that gap.
Bridging the gap, yeah.
Between theory and practice, between head and heart.
That's what it's all about.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about those subtle realms.
Subtle realms, all right.
You mentioned astral projection, where our consciousness leaves our body.
Yeah, travels to other planes.
Tell me more about that. Is that something anyone can do?
Theosophy suggests it's an ability we all have, but it's hidden.
Hidden, okay.
And it takes practice to develop.
Okay, but what kind of practice?
Well, meditation, spiritual discipline, guidance from experienced practitioners. It's not something to be taken lightly.
Why not? What's the risk?
The astral realm, like any realm, has its challenges. Without proper preparation, you can get disoriented, encounter negative entities.
Negative entities, that sounds scary.
It can be.
So there's more to it than just having an out-of-body experience for fun.
Oh, yeah, it requires responsibility, understanding.
To navigate those realms safely.
Safely and ethically.
Ethically.
And that's where Theosophy's teachings on ethics come in.
Okay.
Developing virtues like self-control, discernment, compassion. Those create a foundation for exploring these realms responsibly.
So we're not just wandering around blindly.
No. You need a compass, a map.
And using those experiences for spiritual growth.
That's the goal.
Not just for kicks.
Right.
Now, another fascinating concept you mentioned.
Yeah.
The Akashic Records.
The Akashic Records, a cosmic library.
Holding the record of everything that's ever happened.
Every thought, action, event, emotion.
It's like the ultimate history book.
The story of the universe, all in one place.
Incredible, but how do we access it?
It's not as simple as, opening a book.
Not a quick Google search.
It takes deep meditation, spiritual attunement, and the ability to decipher the language of these records.
So it's not for beginners.
It takes years of dedicated practice.
Okay, so what's the benefit of accessing these records? What can we learn?
Theosophy says you can gain insights into your past lives.
Past lives, okay.
Understand your karmic patterns, receive guidance from spiritual masters, even glimpse the future.
Whoa, glimpse the future. That's intense.
It is powerful knowledge.
But it's not a fortune-telling device, right?
No, it's not about avoiding responsibility.
Okay.
It offers guidance, but ultimately we make our own choices.
So it's about using that knowledge wisely.
Wisely, yeah.
To help us grow and make choices that align with our purpose.
Exactly, to live a more fulfilling life.
And that brings us back to one of Theosophy's core ideas.
Yeah.
Using knowledge and understanding to make ourselves and the world better.
To make a positive impact.
This deep dive has been incredible.
It has been a journey.
I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
Theosophy is vast.
But I'm already feeling inspired.
Good. That's what we want.
To learn more.
There's always more to explore.
But before we get lost in the cosmos.
Right.
Let's address some of those criticisms we mentioned earlier.
Criticisms, okay.
One I've heard is that Theosophy borrows too heavily from Eastern religions and philosophies. Sometimes without giving proper credit or understanding.
That's a valid point.
Yeah, we need to be respectful of different cultures and beliefs.
Absolutely.
So how does Theosophy address this?
Well, Theosophy says it's not about appropriating or misrepresenting those traditions.
Okay.
It's about recognizing the universal truths that exist in all religions and philosophies.
So finding the common threads.
The common threads.
Rather than claiming specific beliefs.
Not about ownership.
It's about connection.
Connection, exactly.
Theosophy encourages comparing different spiritual paths.
Yeah, seeing the bigger picture.
Recognizing that each tradition has something unique to offer.
Each one has its own wisdom.
Like a garden with all its different flowers.
That analogy works well.
Another criticism is that Theosophy makes some bold claims about things like subtle realms and astral projection.
And the Akashic records?
Yeah, and those claims haven't been scientifically proven.
Right.
So some people dismiss Theosophy as pseudoscience or superstition.
That's understandable, in a way.
Yeah, it's important to be discerning, to think critically.
To question what you hear.
How does Theosophy respond to that skepticism?
Theosophy acknowledges that its teachings go beyond what science currently knows.
Okay.
But it also points out that science is always changing.
Right. What's impossible today
Could be proven tomorrow.
So we need to keep an open mind.
An open mind is essential.
Even to ideas that challenge our current understanding.
That's how we grow.
It's like remembering that the map is not the territory.
I like that analogy.
There's always more out there to discover.
Always more to explore.
Beyond what we think we know.
And that's the excitement of Theosophy.
It's an invitation to explore.
To question everything.
And to expand our awareness of the universe and its mysteries.
To see the world in a new way.
It really does seem like Theosophy gives us this framework, not just for understanding ourselves, but also for creating a more harmonious world, more compassionate world.
Right, putting those ideas into action.
But with all these big concepts like cosmic evolution and subtle realms, does Theosophy have anything to say about, our everyday lives? Like, how do we actually apply these teachings to, the stuff we face every day, the challenges, the opportunities?
Okay, so Theosophy is not meant to be this, ivory tower philosophy, disconnected from reality.
Right.
It's about bringing those insights and principles into how we live, into how we interact with each other, how we make decisions.
So bridging that gap between the spiritual ideals and actually living them out.
Bridging the gap, exactly.
Give me an example.
Okay, so take the principle of universal brotherhood.
Okay, universal brotherhood.
It encourages us to treat everyone with kindness and respect, to see the inherent worth in every person.
Okay.
And that translates into how we treat our family and friends, our colleagues, even strangers.
So it's about embodying that compassion.
Embodying, that's a good word.
In our everyday actions.
Yeah, remembering that interconnectedness.
We're not separate.
No, we're all part of one big whole.
And that's a powerful reminder, especially today.
Oh, absolutely.
When there's so much division and conflict.
It's easy to get caught up in that.
Yeah, but Theosophy offers a different way of seeing things.
A different perspective.
It says we have the power to choose a path of empathy and understanding.
To choose a better way.
And what about karma?
Karma, yeah.
How does understanding karma help us deal with the challenges of life?
Well, remembering that our actions have consequences, it makes us more mindful.
Okay.
It encourages us to act with integrity, with consideration.
Because we know we're not just affecting ourselves.
Right. Our actions ripple outward.
They affect everyone.
Yeah, we contribute to the collective karma of humanity.
So it's not just about avoiding negative consequences.
Yeah.
It's about creating positive ones.
Exactly. Yeah. Creating positive ripples that benefit everyone.
It's about taking responsibility.
Responsibility.
For our choices.
Yeah. Knowing we have the power to make a difference.
To make the world a better place.
That's the idea.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about Theosophy's teachings on death and the afterlife.
Okay. Death and the afterlife.
What happens to us when we die? Is that the end, or is there something more?
Well, Theosophy has a different perspective on death than many mainstream religions.
How so?
It says that death isn't the end, but a transition to another state of being.
Okay, so we don't just cease to exist.
No, our consciousness continues.
And it evolves.
It evolves, yeah.
On other planes of existence.
Right, just like we shed our physical bodies at the end of each lifetime.
So it's like graduating from one level of school to the next.
That's a good analogy.
We take the lessons we've learned with us.
Exactly. The experiences stay with us.
And just like we need a break between semesters.
Right. A time to rest and reflect.
Theosophy says that after death,
yeah,
we enter a period of review and assimilation.
To process everything from that past life.
And to get ready for the next one.
To prepare for the next chapter.
So death isn't something to fear.
No.
It's just a natural part of the soul's journey.
A transition, a doorway.
A doorway. I like that.
To new opportunities for growth.
It's a comforting thought.
It is.
Especially for those who are, facing their own mortality.
Yeah, or grieving the loss of a loved one.
Yeah, it gives a different perspective.
A hopeful perspective.
Now, before we wrap up,
okay,
I want to touch on Theosophy's legacy again.
Legacy, yeah.
You talked about how it influenced the New Age movement, art, literature, even science.
It's had a wide reach.
Can you give us some specific examples of how those ideas have spread?
Sure. One of the clearest examples is modern spirituality. Concepts like karma and reincarnation, chakras, spiritual healing.
Yeah.
Those used to be fringe ideas.
Okay.
But theosophical teachings helped popularize them.
So they're more mainstream now.
They're integrated into a lot of spiritual practices and self-help movements.
So Theosophy helped create a more open and inclusive approach to spirituality.
Yeah, it broke down some of those barriers.
Challenged the dogma.
Exactly. It encouraged people to explore different paths.
Leading to the diversity we see today.
That's right, a richer spiritual landscape.
What about its influence on art and literature?
Well, theosophical ideas resonated with a lot of artists and writers. They inspired them to explore themes of spirituality, symbolism, the interconnectedness of everything.
Okay.
Take Wassily Kandinsky and Piet Mondrian, for example.
Okay, those are big names in abstract art.
Yeah, their paintings were deeply influenced by theosophy.
How?
They were trying to express spiritual truths through color, form, symbolism.
So they wanted to go beyond just representing the physical world.
Right, to tap into something deeper, more spiritual.
And in literature.
Yeah, authors like T.S. Eliot and James Joyce.
Okay.
They incorporated theosophical themes into their works.
Like what?
They explored human consciousness, the search for meaning, the connection between the individual and the universe.
So these theosophical ideas, they've become part of our culture.
They've woven their way in.
They influence how we think about ourselves, the world, our place in it all.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It really speaks to the power of these teachings.
Their enduring relevance.
Even in our modern world.
Yeah, even with all the materialism and technology.
This has been an incredible conversation.
I've enjoyed it.
I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of theosophy.
So,
but I'm still grappling with some of the more complex ideas.
And that's okay.
Okay.
Theosophy isn't something you just accept or reject. It's an invitation to explore, to question, to form your own understanding.
So it's a personal journey.
Very much so.
Not about fitting into a box.
No, it's about finding your own truth.
Within this framework of universal principles.
That's the beauty of it.
It's been so thought-provoking.
It has.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
There's always more to discover.
But I'm definitely inspired to delve deeper.
That's the spirit.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
yeah,
what would you say is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
The most important takeaway.
Something they can carry with them as they continue exploring.
Well, if I had to leave them with one thought,
okay,
it would be this. Theosophy, at its heart, is a call to self-discovery.
Self-discovery.
To awaken to the mystery and beauty of existence. And to recognize our connection to all beings.
To see that we're not alone.
Exactly. We're all in this together.
And it's a journey of learning, growth, transformation.
With incredible rewards.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been truly mind-expanding.
I'm glad to hear it.
And for those listening, remember, the journey doesn't end here.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep seeking.
Who knows what amazing insights are waiting to be discovered.
The universe is full of wonders.
Until next time, happy deep diving.